I just pulled up the 1990 to 2006. It's a census government abortion demographic. And the interesting thing is that in 2006, for every 1,000 women, there were 14 abortions. But for every 1,000 black women, there were 50 abortions. So I look at this and I think
so is that tribalism or is that racism?
I think it's racism.
Both, probably.
Absolutely. I think.
So
yeah, that's just
isn't
terrible.
that interesting? So Tim, but this is what bothers me. So when Tim thinks, so there's like this right-wing narrative. Well, it's kind of funny. The origin of abortion being a plan to get rid of black people, you know where that theory comes from?
Democrats.
No.
Well, it makes sense if it came from them.
It comes from socialists. It comes from the Black Panther Party.
Really? Oh, wow.
It was black nationalists.
Black nationalists.
Yes, that first put forward this idea that Planned Parenthood and abortions in America were some sort of plot to rid the country of black people, which makes sense when you think about it. Like,
the far left, yeah.
Right. Who would be advocating for such a thing? And so like the right has kind of picked up this theory because they feel like it helps them in the abortion fight. And so Tim looks at that number, and first of all, Daryl looks at that number and says it's racist, which I think is not true. I don't think that number has anything to do with race. Well, I guess it depends how you define racism, but it's not like overt racism. There's no intention there. And
right.
Tim, but since it kind of fits in with that sort of right-wing narrative, and he thinks it's going to sort of help with his conversation with Daryl, he says, yes, that's racism. That's not racism. Those numbers aren't that way because of racism.
I mean, it seems like family planning is a way to get yourself out of poverty. And if blacks are disproportionately in poverty, taking away family planning from them is probably going to make it even worse.
Yeah. Well, and the reason, part of the, like, the biggest, well, there's two gigantic factors for why the black abortion rate is significantly higher than the white abortion rate. The first is obviously black women are disproportionately poorer than white women. And when you look at abortions overall, it's heavily weighted towards poor women have way more abortions already.
Of course.
So that's going to throw out, and when you have like the black population in America is very small compared to the white population. So those little differences are going to have huge statistical effects on the numbers. Is the first thing. The second thing, and this probably has something to do with poverty too, is if you look at unexpected pregnancy rates, the unexpected pregnancy rates in the black population is like 4 times higher than the white population. And so it's like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense why the abortion rate is so much higher then.
The unexpected pregnancy rate is higher in the black community? Is that
yes.
Okay.
Like 3 to 4 times higher, significantly higher.
Do they think condoms are like a communist plot or something?
Well, I didn't look into, I think Actual Justice Warrior, he did a video on this.
Oh, that they don't like condoms. Who likes condoms? Nobody fucking likes condoms, okay?
And I remember I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe someone in chat remembers. Mm-hmm. He got this back and forth with, like, I think it was Lance of the Surfs. And we'll have to ask Surfs about this because Surfs has a hate boner for Sean. He got in this back and forth with Lance, I think, about, this question, and Actual Justice Warrior is like, I don't know, they don't use condoms or other birth control the same rate as like the white population. And for some reason, like the Surfs took this as like Actual Justice Warrior being racist for some reason.
Because they don't like condoms?
And he's like,
nobody likes condoms and they don't.
Well, he's like, I don't, that's just what the numbers, I don't know, how is this racist?
I remember. I remember.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, how am I being racist? That's what the stats bore out, So that's why the abortion rates are way higher in the black community. There's no conspiracy here.
Everyone in the chat is totally triggered that I said family planning. I'm sorry. I meant baby killing. I'm sorry. I used the wrong term. If you take away baby killing from the black community, then obviously. Well, I mean,
they're gonna get.
It's easier just to kill the baby than to actually raise the baby.
Right.
Baby killing is a lot cheaper than baby raising. Just so you know.
Well, people are gonna have to hold on to their elephants when he gets into this because I did look into this Margaret Sanger claim.
Oh, is it weak?
It's both. It's mixed. It's a mixed bag, but we'll get into that.
Right.
racist tribals.
I think when you look at the locations of Planned Parenthood facilities, they tend to be in Black and Latino areas, not lower income areas.
Just like when you look at all the advertisements and billboards for cigarette smoking and alcohol, usually in impoverished Black areas.
Yep. So I'm curious as to what you.
Yeah, but see, this is what annoys me because I feel like he's only agreeing that it's racist because he thinks it helps his point. Where normally he would fight back against this, and I think you should fight back against this. I don't think the reason there are billboards or advertisements for cigarettes and alcohol in lower income Black neighborhoods because
of racism. No, it's because that's where the demand is.
Right. It's because so it's because there's a lot of poor Black people that are buying those products.
Right.
Now you can make the argument that, well, the reason it is racism because the reason they're poor in the first place is because the history of racism and oppression in the country, yada 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 yada. But I'm assuming that's not what he's talking about or what anyone is generally talking about when they say because of racism. Maybe is, I don't know. The question isn't asked, but
when they fought for prohibition, one of the arguments that racists would make was we can't let the Black man get drunk. The alcohol turns the Black man into a monster. That's what they would say.
Yeah.
That's
gonna be a savage committing crimes and abducting white women. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's basically what they would say. Yeah.
Right.
The racists were fully on board with prohibition. So.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
What your thoughts on this would be? Why is it that in 2006, for every 1,000 Black women, there's 50 abortions, but for every 1,000 white women, there's 14 abortions? How do you think something like that happens?
Racism. Racism.
Sure, but
racism's the answer for everything.
Right.
That's such a normie take.
It is. Yeah.
Is it? Are there racists who are advocating for? Are these pro-choice racists who are trying to trick Black people, or how is it racist?
They're trying to cut. Okay, let me tell you what's happening.
Well, that's a good
here.
question.
When you were a kid, even though you're a lot younger than I am, and when I was a kid, even when your parents were kids, and your grandparents were kids, the Black population in this country was 12%. Native Americans, 1%. Hispanic people, around 2%. Asian people, around 3%. Whites, 86, 87%. All right? The U.S. Census is taken every decade, every 10 years. You can Google uscensus.gov and see the trends. All right? Today, Black people remain just over 12%, like 12.9, 13%. All right? Native Americans remain at 1%. Asians have pretty much doubled. They're like at 5.9, almost 6%. Latino, Hispanic people have more than quadrupled, 17-something percent.
That's probably all from immigration, not from birth rates.
No, of course.
Yeah.
If you take just Black people, 12%, Hispanic people, 17%, that right there is 29% non-white. That's almost a third. All right. This is happening. All right. Today, the last census was last year. I'm sorry, 2 years ago, 2020. All right. White people in this country right now are 59%. All right. In the year 2042, which is 2 decades from now, this will happen for the first time in our country. This country will be 50% white, 50% non-white. All right, for the first time. Between 2045 and 2050, it's going to flip, and whites will become the minority in this country. Whites are already the minority globally, but in this country, they are the majority. You guys may know the term white flight.
Yep.
Okay? White flight barely exists in our country anymore because the color of America's landscape has changed so much that anywhere you go, there's already somebody there who doesn't look like you. And so there's a large swath of the white American population that doesn't care about this happening. Hey, it's evolution. I don't care. No big deal. I don't have a problem with that. But there's also a large swath that does care about that. They feel they're getting squished out. We built this country. We wrote the Constitution.
Sitch.
And now, our identity is being...
Wait. What?
He's talking about you.
What?
Scared of losing your place. I know all those.
Oh yes, I am so trembling in my boots.
So
that,
terrified.
Yes. Oh no, I'm so
Watching
terrified
Tucker Carlson every night.
of the Great
Worried,
Replacement.
So
Oh my God.
nervous.
I know. Every day I just DM Adam. I'm like, every time I see a non-white person, I'm like, oh my God. Can't we go back at him? I want to be able to walk down the street and see only faces that look like mine. Okay, I built this country. And when I say I mean people that had my same skin color that were hundreds and hundreds of years earlier that I should not fucking accrue any benefit from them because I'm not them whatsoever. But they built this country. So that means something to me because we share some external arbitrary skin color. Okay,
Yeah.
It means something, Adam.
Obviously, we're joking around. And Los Angeles was taken over long ago, man. I'm surprised when I go out and see a white person. I'm like, oh, look, another white person.
Being, squashed out with race mixing and people moving us out and so forth and so on. So they are fearing this happening. And this is a problem for them. And this is why, we're seeing a lot of these things, that you're talking about. Voting rights changing.
So this is a terrible answer, by the way, because I don't know what the fuck this has to do with the abortion rate.
Yeah.
Unless
it's a great answer, though, because he doesn't want to answer the abortion thing.
Well, unless his implication here is that those people are somehow intentionally getting black women to get abortions, which doesn't make any sense because what he's saying, because under what he's saying, the black population hasn't increased at all. It's been the same.
Yeah.
If those are the people driving abortions, they should be getting all the Hispanic people to get abortions or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Great point. Yeah. Why aren't they
right?
Like,
So I don't know why he's bringing this up at all. I'm very lost, but
yeah. Hispanics
and also
all
it's
have
generally
like 20 kids too.
Right. And well, first of all, racist. Secondly, it's as Tim was saying, it's the left that's generally pushing for pro-choice access to abortions, and it's generally people on the right who are more concerned about changing demographics. So I just don't know what this has anything to do with the question at all.
Why is that racist? That Hispanics generally do have giant families.
I know. I was teasing you.
More power to them. I know
and people,
the progressives are going to come in and say you're causing climate change. Like, oh,